Hey, what's up, everybody? Okay, all right. This one's going to be an interesting one. So I'm going to speak a lot. I'm going to start with some politics. If you're not into that, I guess you can skip, but it will all make sense, okay? Like Common says, one day it'll all make sense. I'll bring it all together, okay? We're going to get to Doechii. But as you know, on this channel, I like to try to bring a little bit more weight to discussion because we can sit here and talk about Doechii, gay trolling, and all that stuff. But it's like, yeah, that's it is what it is. But there is a precedent for this, and I want to get to me looking at the larger picture. I'm spitballing here. You can disagree, of course, but I do think that a lot of these things are connected to a general societal pattern, if that makes sense. So, if you're not familiar, Mahmoud Khalil is a pro Hamas. um, well, let's just put it this way. I'm sure he will say he's not pro Hamas, even though everything that he has done so far points to him being pro Hamas. But this was some gentleman, who had a green card. He was organizing a lot of the protests at Columbia, essentially shutting Jewish students out of their own classes, assaults, all kinds of stuff. It's interesting because this guy is not an American citizen, and people in the Western world don't seem to understand this very basic point. People want to destroy the United States. I lived in Saudi Arabia for a decade. You really think that the Arab world likes the United States? I mean, think about it, the Western world. They look at y'all as us as kuffar, okay? Non-believers, the devil. Shaitan should be destroyed. So when you're importing these people in, a lot of them have this belief, or especially if they're raised in that environment, and they'll act like agents, and they'll use your laws against you. So I think this is very interesting because the writer of this article, of course, the Atlantic, and it's I don't necessarily consider the Atlantic to be like I mean, it is a known newspaper. I don't think it's like the top, but Adam Serwer wrote this article, right? He's Jewish. He claims to be Jewish. They always do. And there's a lot of these as a Jew types. They put the identity forward. Now he doesn't necessarily do this in the article, but this individual to me is co-opted and doesn't actually understand the basic facts, right? Because this individual is making an argument that this pro-Palestinian student was arrested without due process for exercising his right to free speech. And it's like, free speech? Number one, Mahmoud Khalil is not an American citizen. Like, he's not. He has the privilege of being in the United States. But you don't get to come to a foreign country, you're a foreigner, and then you want to destabilize that country. That's ridiculous. And for you as an American to not see that and to not be against something like that is bizarre to me. And then free speech. Anyone who thinks that these pro-Palestinian, any of them, marches are free speech are so twisted. It's not even funny. It's hate speech. There's a difference between free speech and hate speech, and frankly, you should be able to tell the difference. Now, why do I bring this up? The left has this really weird thing going on right now. I suggest you watch this video when you get the time. I did post it in the community section about how the Western, a lot of political spheres, but obviously the artistic spheres, the academics, have really been co-opted by a lot of this lefty bullshit. And I say this as someone who I would consider myself to be part of the left. I used to be part of the left. And after October 7th, I looked at stuff and going, whoa, what the fuck is going on out here? And then a lot of stuff started to make sense to me because I started seeing this DEI woke shit for really the totalitarian nonsense it really is. So I would imagine you to watch this video because it's quite good. And the truth is that a lot of these individuals who are projecting values of whatever it is, your gay rights or minority rights and all this stuff, a lot of them don't actually really care about them. They're using it as a grift to obtain control and to destroy systems that are already in play. And it's very goofy to me. Why does this matter? Because these people are dangerous. They are usually either too dumb to understand what's going on, or they do understand what's going on, and they're just such a narcissist that they don't mind playing into that. Now, how does this relate to Doechii? Well, Doechii to me is, again, the rap equivalent of some of these Palestinianism type of ideas, where everyone is sort of moving away from, not everyone, obviously, I would argue. In fact, I think the tide is switching back to normal in a way, slowly and slowly. But a lot of these lefty or even just media institutions, academic institutions, certainly our music institutions, they've really been besieged by this sort of DEI bullshit, Marxist bullshit, where people avoid objectivity. It's all my truth, my mental illness. And I'm like, I don't care what your truth is. What is the truth? Okay? It's not my truth. It's not postmodern. There's not multiple truths out here. There is the truth. Okay? Figure it out. And the problem with people that do this my truth bullshit is that they don't actually care about the truth. It's a great way for them to water down the concept of truth. And once they've successfully watered down the concept of objective truth or objectivity, then they will insert themselves as the truth. That's the whole point that people, I think, don't realize about the really hidden agenda behind a lot of this woke bullshit, right? And this is why, again, you've noticed this in rap over the last, I would argue, 10 to 20 years in particular. People who are just supposed to be dope. Like, a Billboard puts them as the number one, the Billboard Woman of the Year. And you're like, huh? This just no hits. Like, I'm listening to the I rap, and it sounds like trash. It sounds like some shit. Sounds like some Nicki Minaj shit, back when people were doing that Das Effectsy pop rap that got stale in 91. Like, how is this chick, like, supposedly one of the greatest rappers already? How is she getting cosigns from Lauryn Hill? Again, you have to understand that what's going on here is that objectivity has been thrown out the window. This is why it's very difficult to have conversations about hip-hop. Before, we were a lot more objective. Really, if we're being honest here, of course, art is subjective. Art is music. Music in general, of course, has subjective elements. But when you're really dope, when you are that guy, you're that girl, it's less subjective than you would think. Because objectively, these people were making songs. There was, hip-hop has a certain formula, right? Hip-hop has a certain, it's built on certain styles, a certain attitude, a certain thought process, right? So when you build a foundation of things, it becomes very clear what something is about. And that's why, to a certain extent, you can say when someone especially is doing it and executing at a very high level, you can say, oh, this person's really dope. And it's pretty obvious, right? Like, I'll give you a perfect example. We talk about Doechii, right? Doechii recently got co-signed, I guess, by Lauryn Hill. Everyone's like, oh my God, Lauryn Hill co-signed, right? And it's all this co-sign bullshit. When Lauryn Hill came out as a solo art, first of all, when Lauryn Hill came out as a rapper before, okay, when she was on Fuji, she was dope. I mean, I don't care who you are. You heard Lauryn Hill and you went, oh, this girl can rap, right? She's got talent, right? When Lauryn Hill made Doo-Wop, I remember when Doo-Wop came out, and I was like, this song is phenomenal. It's different. It's her own. It sounds like something only really Lauryn would make. You have to remember, think about, even I just remember thinking this beat's so weird, but it's like a throwback to that doo-woppy. I mean, that's why it's called doo-wop. It's beautiful, right? Now, when Lauryn got, I think she won a bunch of Grammys and, she was a big deal. That was fairly objective. Again, I don't care about the Grammys, but I could understand, okay, Lauryn Hill, she's a great rapper. She's also a pop artist in some sense. And, the awarding makes sense to me. There was a bit of objectivity because we were all kind of on this together. We were all trying to chase what is truly dope, right? And see, when you're trying to chase what's truly dope, what's truly ill, you have to insert objectivity in there. Objectivity is important. But when you don't care and when all that is tossed out the window and it's all about my truth, your truth, and you can't comment on so-and-so because you're hating on them and all that shit, that's people who are trying to destroy a culture. They're trying to destroy the truth. Okay? And unfortunately, our arts institutions have been co-opted by this shit in a lot of ways. But, eventually people are going to get tired of this. I saw this thing. I'm not going to go into all this in big detail. I mean, Doechii has no hits, okay? So she has to gate troll. She's got to do stuff. We know the playbook, okay? There's nothing special about this girl. She's got to do this, okay? This is the Jonathan Majors playbook. It'll work until it doesn't, right? But even then, I would argue that I think the results are going to be more and more limited. But that's just my opinion. Now, shout out to my man, Durrell. Durrell had sent me a message, and he was like, I saw Doechii. She was doing sort of like almost like sort of booty stripper music, and like I'm surprised that she's now sort of like this artsy rapper. I'm like, that's not surprising at all. In fact, I've told you about these artsy fartsy rappers. I don't like them because they're fakes and they don't actually have a backbone about anything, right? They will literally chase whatever trend that's going on, and what they'll do, very much like your typical wokey Islamist type, is what they do is they invert reality, and this is why they're so obsessed with what's going on. They will borrow and take from what is already hot and just be like, oh well, I'm not like that. I'm more moral, even though everything they're doing is literally borrowing from the people they're attempting to downplay. Right? It's an inversion of reality. Again, watch this video. It's only 6 minutes and it'll sum up a lot of stuff. This is what the woke individuals are about. It's an inversion of reality. This is why Islamists and the woke have a relationship. And a lot of these guys, like your TDEs and these individuals, they're trying to invert reality. They use bots. They try to get you to think that, oh, this girl Doechii is so ill. She's the biggest thing. She's really not. She's really not. She has no hits. None. Zero. She has no hits. I'm sorry. You can look at stream. Maybe bots have tried to, blow up her shit. No one's playing Doechii like that. I haven't heard it. You know what I'm saying? And now someone say, Doechii, that's your perspective. Just because you haven't heard Doechii, doesn't mean that she's not popular out here. I would argue that you can feel it. I'm sorry. But, in hip hop, if you are a savvy listener, you know who's really that person, who's really doing it. Again, that level of objectivity has been systematically destroyed from our culture. We know who's really that person. When DMX came out, we knew he was that dude. So if someone was like, yo, DMX ran 98, or DMX was the most popular rapper in 98, or one of the most popular, it was like, yeah, it was obvious. And it has nothing to do with sales. We don't even care about the sales, right? It's, you walked around. Now, I was, of course, in Saudi Arabia, but from friends and people out here, you heard DMX everywhere. Shit, I was following, this one website, whatever, the one that wasn't blocked. You heard DMX and was like, who is this guy? You just had that feeling, right? And he started to become more popular. He was doing stuff, he was Aaliyah. Again, dope is dope. I don't care about this new version of reality that these, at the end of the time, incompetent wokies are trying to set up. Dope is dope. The truth is the truth. Come with some facts or don't come at all, right? So that's my opinion on this. I think that, again, Doechii doing the artsy fartsy thing. Well, I can't remember the name of the song. It was, let me see if it's in my history here. I watch a lot of stuff. Oh, Booty Drop. I'm not playing this garbage. But, she'll go back and forth. That's just until whatever works, right? But again, stripper artsy is Doechii. Gangsta artsy, K-Bot. Lupe, it's been done. You start out trying to do like bang bang shoot 'em up music. It doesn't work. You're not good enough at it, right? People who actually are much better at it are doing it. And then you go, okay, all right, what do I need to do? Okay, I need to, my auntie is an uncle now. I got to pick up a guitar or get Rolling Stone to start writing about me and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to be the artsy one that's healing hip hop, right? Away from these dirty nizzles, nigs, while, duping everything, copying everything that they do, right? Come on. They playing the game, right? That's why Doechii has all this talk for how apparently bisexual or not straight she is. But she won't talk about the fact that black families are being economically decimated out here. Or not just black families, but just in general, how, times are tough for people, right? That's something that everyone can relate to, right? Why is that exactly? How come the 1% have become so much wealthier than everybody else, right? What's that about? How come? Okay, and again, I don't hate on people who make money, to be real with you. I don't have a problem. If you work hard and you make money, you make a lot more money than me, I don't have a problem with that. I think you should be rewarded for your work, right? So I'm not with that communist shit in any way, shape, or form. So with that said, of course, it's a bit of a balance. You kind of have to, if you're watching crony capitalism take over everything, that's a bit of an issue, right? Um, but then again, why, for example, does she not have an opinion on this bizarre hate speech that's been rampant in our streets for the last, I don't know, almost 2 years now, right? Doechii has no opinion on that, right? She has no opinion on, I don't know, black folk that are getting slaughtered in Africa or whatever. Like, so her major concern is just how bisexual she might be. Why am I not surprised, right? She's just, she's making music for white people, white woke people. That's her audience, really. Um, Mostly. I mean, if a couple of black folks sprinkled in, whatever. She's a Janelle Monáe rapper, right? We've seen this playbook before. She's a look, and she's a look and a narrative, but ultimately no hits. No hits, zero talent, really, in the grand scheme of things. Now, if she one day decides to make a song worth hearing and it's actually really dope, I'll tell you, I'll champion it because I personally, again, it's not personal with me, but I know the bullshit when I see it. And again, it's the Kendrick thing. It's the same playbook all over again. Kendrick had no hits. He just came out of nowhere. That guy's the OG plant, right? And the thing is, what you do is you plant somebody and then you force them. That you can't do it all the time, but you have to wait where there's a bit of a lull and take advantage of that, where there's some chaos, right? I mean, this is what Islamists do. They create chaos and then they step in. After all the creation, they hide in the shadows, create chaos, and then after the chaos is, enraging, and people are like, oh, fuck, we need some order here. Then they step in and present the order, right? So in a way, TDE and some of these in Interscope are doing kind of the same sort of shit. There's a bunch of chaos. People don't know what the fuck is going on with rap. Rap is trash. A lot of these guys can't really, and girls can't make a song worth hearing. And then here's the solution to that. We force the shit out of this rapper. And then you force it. Some people, by nature, are just going to be like, oh, I like this person. This person is dope. That person has no hits. That person does not have no underground come up, right? It just is what it is, man. Oh, Doechii, she's been out here grinding. No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't. Oh, she has, music videos dating back to 2019. They were trash. They were boring. The songs were boring. None of them hit, right? What's hit now is the marketing. So again, you can't skate around this stuff. Objectivity is what we need now. Okay, we need some people who actually care about the facts. That's who really want to they want to say something relevant or make something that's actually relevant. No more of this subjectivity bullshit. Really, again, music is subjective. Art is subjective. You're going to put your emotion into it. That's fine. I mean, we love that. That's the whole point of the arts. But it can't be an inversion of reality. That's boring, right? Like, I'm sorry, it's boring, right? Especially when you're doing it to cover up your incompetence. And that's what a lot of these wokies are doing. They're deeply incompetent. If you look at the people that have these opinions on things, who say my truth, they're deeply incompetent. They don't have the facts. They don't care about the facts. Competent people who really and truly care about other human beings, who are smart, who are competent, they care about the facts. They care about objectivity. They don't engage in moral relativism and stupid shit like that, right? Now, of course, they're a lot of times they're flexible. They also understand that things can be different, right? But it's not this inversion of reality shit that a lot of this, a lot of again, I would argue society at large has been subject to, and it's made its way to rap. I mean, Kanye was, again, you could argue one of the big ones. So it's not a surprise that it's made its way to Doechii. I hope that all makes sense. It's a lot that I've put on the table. But in essence, I don't care about this whack plant, okay? It's the Kendrick playbook all over again. More power to her. I don't really care for her shit. I mean, if a song comes on and it's actually any good, I'll let you know. I'm not looking forward to that, though. I'm not holding my breath, all right? Peace.